Hey guys, Joe Pye here, Advanced Innovations, Austin, Texas. Welcome back to the shop. I'm going to run a couple of tapped holes in a piece of plastic this morning, only because it's quick and easy to tap. And then I'm going to show you what you're not seeing when you do this. You can look at your tap, you can make sure everything is perfect. The tap goes in nice and concentric, and you think you got a good hole. Well, do you? I don't know. Let's find out. The material here is pre-drilled, and just to show you that the hole is nice and straight, let's turn the machine off for a second. Okay. Now this hole is going to be done completely by hand with a T-handle. And watch for the body of the tap to spin nice and true. That's what you want to see. Try to keep it nice and still as you're going in. And once it starts to engage, it'll be a little bit easier to keep it straight. Visually look past your tap or some other horizontal reference point beyond the tap to help you line up the body as it's spinning true. Alright, well, I think you got a nice clean hole going here, right? Body of the tap is spinning nice and true. Everything is wonderful. Watch this. This is about to blow your mind. Once you think you have a hole that's nice and straight, cycle the machine. Put it on a very low RPM and watch the body of the tap. Now, I think you just saw it slide in there nice and straight, relatively straight. Here comes the palm to forehead moment. Watch this. Right? When the machine turns on, boy, it's a whole different world. Yet as the tap goes in that hole, that tap is lying to you all day long. You think you got a nice hole. You don't. Okay, perfect hole, right? No, it's not. Wow. You gotta cycle the machine, guys. If you're gonna run a tap into a piece on a lathe by hand, and just because the body of the tap is running straight, that doesn't mean it's in line with the axis of the machine, the part, the center line of the tap. Make sure you run that collet or run that part accordingly. Now I'm going to take this out, flip the part around, drill another hole, and I'm going to run the machine while I'm holding this and watch for this to jump around, and that will assist you in making a nice straight hole. Let's do that to example number 2. Technique number 2, here we go. I'm going to turn the machine on nice and slow, and I'm going to float the tap in exactly the way I just did. But with the machine running, it'll give me a better idea of what's going on with the actual tap handle. Every so often, as the tap is entering the part, I'm going to let go of the tap handle, and I'm going to watch for the whole tap handle to move. Actually, I'm going to watch for the body of the tap to move. And if it's moving, well, you can influence it so it doesn't move as you grab the handle. Make sure it's nice and slow. You don't want this to be like a blender blade or anything, and make sure there's no burrs or sharp edges on your handle. Let's do it. Take a demonstration, 40 RPM, 40. I'm going to get the tap to start, and I'm going to let the whole handle float in my hand and watch for it to whip. That's pretty severe. Not what you want to see. All right, I think you can see the quality difference between the first method and this method. That is spinning absolutely beautifully. Back here on the back side, you can probably see the handle itself may not be running exactly like you want it to. That's a good technique, guys. Let the tap get a couple of bites, let go of the handle, watch for this area of your tap to run out, push the handle back and forth however you need to straighten out that hole, float it a couple more threads, and let go, take a look, off you go. Beautiful. That's what you want to see. Next demonstration I'm going to show you is I'm going to put this tap in a chuck in the tailstock, and we're going to run it in. There's a couple things to consider when you're going to do that as well. So let's get this tap out of here, put a new piece of material in, show you that one. Next demonstration is to power tap from a tailstock with the tap in a chuck. This is something that you're going to do a lot of once you get comfortable with it. And there's a couple of considerations here. First of all, make sure that this is not locked. You do not want that locked. It may influence the quality of the thread that you get as their final result. Make sure that the surfaces that your tailstock slides back and forth on are well lubed and that the tailstock is free to move. Do not lock the tailstock down. Okay, if you have any type of mechanism that locks the tailstock, and most lathes do, make sure that is not tight. Run it up against the part, and what you're looking for when you run your tailstock up against a part with a tap in a chuck is you do not want to see the body of the tailstock moving towards the headstock or pushing away. That is all determined by how you feel the feed of the tailstock handle as you advance the tap. You want to try to find that neutral point so you don't load up the tap with the mass of the tailstock. And this holds true for in and out. So I'm going to run this in under power, slow RPM. And once I get to the point on my tap where I like how deep the tap is, I'm going to take the tap out of the chuck, pull the tailstock back, and make sure that the machine continues to run. I'm going to watch for the concentricity of the body of the tap, just like I showed you in the previous demonstration. Okay, let's do it. Make sure that tailstock is nice and free, that's important. You don't want any interference between the tailstock and the carriage. So make sure everything is adjusted accordingly. Slower RPM. Let's go at 98 on this one. 98. Manually advancing the tailstock with the crank. And I'm looking for the body of the tailstock not to move, so keep an eye on everything out here, down here. You'll feel it. It is okay if you crank too fast and push the body of the tailstock away, that's fine. Alright, we're in. Like the tap out. Quick cycle, look for the concentricity of the tap body. Love it. You can either take that tap out manually or run the machine in reverse right now, do the exact same thing. Some people just like to let the tap push the tailstock away. That is okay. The risk with that is when the tap reaches the end of the hole and the tailstock stops moving, it may roll the lead thread over and make it difficult for you to start whatever fastener you're going to stick in there. So gentle outward pressure is good. Make sure you run it in reverse. Same philosophy here. You don't want to see the body of the tailstock moving at all, if you can help it. You push too fast or too slow, you may take excess material out of the hole and change the size of the hole. That is a good one to remember. Make sure everything is lubricated, everything is free, everything is clear. And try it on a couple of test pieces. You'll get the feel for how the tap interacts with the rotation of your handle. And after a while, it won't feel like there's anything there at all. If you match the pitch to the rotation of the tailstock handle, you're good to go. And last but not least, truly my least favorite method of tapping a hole on a lathe or a mill, especially on a mill, is when you use a spring-loaded or rigid center and a T-handle. You can't always trust the end of the T-handle. This is a US General T-handle here, and the way that I trued up the end of my handle, and you might want to try this as well, is to find a pin, find the biggest pin that you can grip with your T-handle jaws, and then put that in a collet and let the body spin and single point true up the center on the end of the handle. That way it's going to run a little bit better than it did stock, possibly. 54 RPM, I'm going to let the tap float, and we're going to do basically the same thing, just stall it out every once in a while, let it find its way in, and away we go. It's actually running fairly well because I trued up this hole, and just every once in a while just stall it out. Now, it is not unusual when you're hand tapping or power tapping in a lathe that when you grab a handle or apply pressure to the handle that you are influencing the trajectory of that tap. It is not a bad idea to let it go, let it spin a revolution or so, and then grab the opposite handles. That way, if you are pushing it off center when it spins the other way and you grab the opposite handles, this one goes to here, this one goes to here, boom. You'll see me do it. It will help you float the tap in straight. And double check without any influence. Let's take a look. Not bad. Not bad at all. Well, that's all we got, guys. I hope that you pulled something out of that demonstration. If you've been tapping a million holes for a million years, well, everybody's got to start somewhere, so forgive the repeat on the education that you've already got. But when you float that tap in with a T-handle or any other kind of handle, it is so important to engage the machine and watch the body of the tap spin, because you're not always getting what you think you're getting. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Thank you very much for spending some of your time with me wherever you are in the world. I hope you're well, happy, and safe, all of the above. Stop by the web store, check out the swag. We still have fixture plates, rotary table, alignment pins, and a bunch of other swag that you might enjoy having. So that's it for me, guys. Joe Pye, Advanced Innovations, Austin, Texas. I'm out.